The time is just gone 12 minutes past 9 a.m. and we on to the second hour of this morning's broadcast of News and Views. If you have just tuned in, I am Inayat Wadi. We welcome you to the show. We welcome our Salam Media listeners and our viewers on the various platforms of Salam Media. Also, One Nation 88.9 FM. We welcome you to the show this morning. And we still got quite a bit coming up on the show this morning, and one of the issues has been Israeli soldiers indiscriminately opening fire at a car, and three Palestinians were martyred in Nablus. And this morning we will be joined shortly by Program Officer at the Ensan Center for Democracy and Human Rights, Hasib Nashashibi. We also have got Penny Appeal South Africa, and this is their Mozambique appeal. And later on in the program, we will be joined by Imtiaz Sayed with the Etiquini Secure. Now, just some of the background to what had taken place in Nablus, where Israeli forces killed three Palestinians in the occupied West Bank. And the statement that came out of the Palestinian Ministry of Health saying that they condemned, and this was condemned by the PA as well, where these three citizens were martyred as a result of direct shooting by Israeli forces in the city of Nablus. And the three victims identified as Ashraf Mubaslat, Adam Mabruka, and Mohammed Dakhil. And this is according to the Palestinian Wafa news agency. And to tell us more, we are now joined by none other than the program officer at the Ensan Center for Democracy and Human Rights, Hasib Nashashibi. Hasib, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome.
Alaikum assalam wa shukran for interviewing me in Jerusalem, Al-Quds.
Yes, sir. Wonderful that you're able to join us now.
Good morning.
Once again, we see the brutality of the Israeli Defense Force. We see the brutality of the Israeli soldiers manifesting itself in Nablus, and we've seen these three citizens that were martyred for absolutely no reason. What do we know about what had transpired, Hasib?
Well, Israel always using the propaganda saying that it's under the threat of liquidation and killing their inhabitants, quote unquote, the settlers, the colonialists, and Israel want to keep the situation in Palestine as a state of war against the Palestinians, because they want to convince their colonialists, the Israeli colonialists and the West Bank, that they are under threat of liquidation and killing. Israel, it's not the first time in this year that the Israel killed three people in different places in West Bank since the beginning of 2022, and in a form of liquidation or assassination. And for this incident or this assassination in Nablus that took the lives of three martyrs, Dakhil and Mabruki and Baslet, was a complete assassination, because the incident and people who viewed the incidents that said that the Israeli army intercepted the car where they was, and they could have arrested them instead of killing them. Israel knows about them and knows the identity of those three people, because they are from Al-Fatah group, Shuhada al-Aqsa, the Aqsa martyrs, and they called them several times, as their family said. One of the fathers of one of them, Ashraf and Basra, said that the captain, the captain of the Israeli intelligence, called them several times, and they told them we are going to liquidate you, to kill you. So, and at the same time, the Israeli media didn't say that those people. Also, they said that they attacked the Israeli soldiers in several places, but they said that no casualties happened during this attacks. Although they could have arrested them because they ambushed them in the middle of Nablus, the city of Nablus, the largest city in Palestine, and with the presence of different people inside the street, and the crime could killed more than the three who were aimed to kill, because there were heavy firing against those people. The people saying that the Israeli soldiers fired almost like 100 bullets on them, and they aimed to kill them in the heads, and most of the bullets went into their heads. And as I said, that they know them and they know where they are moving and where they are hiding. So they could have arrested them instead of killing them. But the killing is to tell the people, to tell this fragment, Shuhada al-Aqsa, that we were chasing you, and we will threatening them not to do any armed attacks on the Israeli army or on the Israeli colonialists.
Yes. Now, obviously, we've seen strong condemnation come through from the Palestinian Ministry of Health. We've seen condemnation from the likes of the Palestinian Authority as well, Hasib. And as you mentioned, this was a targeted killing. This was an assassination in every aspect. And even to the extent that it was not only an assassination, but it was a brutal assassination, because even the hospital and even doctors have been saying that they had a very hard time recognizing the victims because of the gunshots.
Well, it's more than this. It's an extrajudicial killing. It's the Israeli, the army took themselves as executioners and judge. They never announced that those people are chased. They never announced that those people are dangerous. But the timing of killing them while the Palestinians are convening in Ramallah, this is the highest political council, the Central Council, Palestinian Central Council, and all the leaders of the Palestinian fragments are convening in Ramallah while the council was going on. They committed their crime in Nablus to tell the people, or the whole people, that Israel still have the highest or the high hand on the Palestinians. And hello.
Yes, you can continue. I can hear you.
Yes, and you still hearing me? Are you
Yes,
seeing me?
again, Hasib, continue.
Oh, yes, yes. And they want the Palestinians and to tell the Fatah fragment because the Israelis and I mean, there is some consumptions that the Fatah al-Shuhada al-Aqsa are the largest group in the West Bank, not in Gaza, but in the West Bank and all over. So the condemnation came from different uh, different sides, and especially and above all is the people condemning the assassination and condemning in the same time, on the same manner, sorry, the Palestinian Authority that they are not capable to defend the people, the unarmed people, and in the same time those martyrs or those freedom fighters. So for the authority and the Palestinian National Authority, I don't believe that they did something for protecting the people here, and especially that considering the coordination, the security coordination with Israel is an important element with the agreement with Israel. So the situation is it says that all the people are condemning and criticizing the work of the Palestinian Authority.
Yes. Now, also, I think what is important to understand, Hasib, is when one looks at the excuse on the part of Israel, and they are reporting that there was a clash with security forces, which we know wasn't the case. But also at the same time, when one looks at the calls for the international community to be involved, we've seen the PA saying that the silence of the international community to Israel's violations and these crimes that they are committing, these criminal acts, obviously is open warfare against the people of Palestine, and also at the same time calling on the international community to do something about this, because it is clear that for over 70 years this is carrying on, and nothing is being done. But what more? What more can be done, Hasib?
Well, I believe that the Palestinian Authority, as part of the negotiations with Israel towards to establish the independent Palestinian state, and all the accords they signed with the Israeli side, could when they see that the Israelis are not working according to the accords, they can go as part of as members of the International Criminal Court. They can go to the criminal court and they can gather as much as cases as Israel is so doing several operations and several assassinations like this, so they don't need a proof that Israel is a terrorist state, and to ask for the whole international community to go with. It's not only the official line, also to address the people of the world what Israel is doing. And thanks for some of the Palestinians' actions, like the PDS and others, to defend the right of the Palestinians. But the community that created, the Western community that created Israel for the purposes to extend services for those imperialists, are not interested to condemn Israel, especially the United Nations, the United States, and Britain. Britain, yes, created this state and even France, Germany, all these people who cooperated to establish the Israelis inside Palestine and inside the Arab countries to do. So what we have to do is authority and on the popular side is to work among the international community, people like you, people like other people in Europe, in States, in Latin America, inside Asia, to lobby and to bring the awareness of the international community to what Israel is doing. Because at the same time, Israel is pretending that they are defending themselves, and those activities are against international law and et cetera, et cetera. So what we have to do is that the Palestinian Authority should generate and work hard to prove that Israel is a liar, and Israel is using the lie that they are under threat. And so, if you look to the situation in Palestine now, Israel has no enemies except Lebanon and the Palestinians. In Lebanon, they cannot do anything because they know what they are going to do if they started a war against Lebanon and Hezbollah and the resistance, the Arab resistance. But the only enemy are for them, they want to prove they are very strong, is against the Arab Palestinian population. That's what we call it, the full suppression and apartheid regime. You know the situation in Palestine. You cannot go from Nablus to Hebron, for example, without passing through 5 or 6 checkpoints, and sometimes it takes you like several hours to reach, while you can do it in half an hour or 1 hour maximum. And of course, by dividing the people of Palestine into several surrounded communities, like, for example, take what they're doing against Gaza. They are surrounding Gaza, and they are preventing people to have their essential food or essential materials for their lives. This is the duty of the Palestinian Authority, is to highlight the Israeli crimes against the Palestinians. Of course, they have to work with the people, which they are not working with the people. They are not defending the people. They are not securing the people, because of the accords they've signed with the Israelis.
Yes, Hasib, Jazakallah khairan so much for that and for your time with us this morning here on News and Views on Salam Media. We wish you all the best, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum, and thank you very much again. And I wish you all the success and improving your duties. Thank you very much again.
Inshallah, Hasib Nashashibi joining us this morning, and this is the killing of 3 members who belong to the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigade, and they are Muhammad Al-Dakhil, Adam Mabrouk, and Ashraf Mubaslat. They were killed, and in the most brutal manner by 10 Israeli security personnel who moved around the vehicle. They took defensive positions, and they just riddled the car with bullets, to the extent that even doctors said that they could not recognize those that were martyred. The time is just gone 9:31 a.m. We come back, we'll be joined by Penny Appeals, Shinas Parak.
Alhamdulillah.